The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com. Do you want to save around 40% off Disney's prices for deluxe on-property accommodations? Contact DVC-rental.com. They help out Disney Vacation Club owners rent out points that they're not going to use. These points mean savings for you on your next trip at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Vero Beach, Florida, and Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. The DVC member books everything in your name, just like any other reservation. And if you ever decide that you want to become a DVC member, you can check out our sister company, BuyAndSellDVC.com. As a licensed realtor, they sell DVC contracts for members at a savings of 30 to 40% off Disney's prices. And if you're looking to sell your contract, BuyAndSellDVC.com has one of the industry's lowest commissions at only 6.5%. Again, that's DVC-rental.com for your rental needs and BuyAndSellDVC.com to buy or sell into the Disney Vacation Club at a large discount. And make sure you tell them that the Behind Ears podcast crew sent you.
Attention wizards and witches. The Expedition Roasters head roastmaster is pleased to announce the release of 4 new wizarding brews. Are you charming and courageous? Book-smart and brilliant? Big-hearted and kind? Or possibly cunning and ambitious? You may have to try all 4 to find out which house roast you belong to. So cast a transporting spell over to Expeditionroasters.com to begin your journey. And don't forget to continue your adventure with our large selection of pop culture-inspired themed coffees. There's always an adventure in every bag. Behind the Ears podcast fans, be sure to use the code EARS20 for 20% off your first order. That's EARS20 at Expeditionroasters.com. Brew, your happy place.
You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast because everybody does Disney differently.
Oh, welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. Sir, before I ask you how you're doing, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, it is that time again. Yes, I had to shave. Yes, I look like I'm 13.
You do.
I do. I literally, I get told time when people see my beard, like, you got to be 35. I shaved the beard like, I want to see your ID. Are you old enough to drive? That's basically how it is.
But here's where I got a question for you, though. How do you shave in such a way where you don't, like, rip your face off to shreds? Because last week after the big cold, I finally shaved, and I looked like horrible, and that was just a couple of stubble.
I was really big in the shaving, like, prior to me growing my beard years ago. So, like, I straight raise. I make my own shaving cream. I just take my time. It's an art.
Okay. Have you ever gone to Art of Shaving at Disney Springs?
You have to make a reservation for that.
You do?
Yes, because every time I've walked in there, they're like, no, sorry, we're booked. I went in there. I bought a couple products from them 2 years ago. Listen, they carry some good stuff. They carry high-end stuff. They carry a lot of really good beard oils. But like Disney, it's expensive. They're overpriced. So, I mean, like, if I was really in the need for something, or because I never had Disney-inspired anything, but they did a couple things like Expedition Roasters where it's pop culture. and like has a little similarity. I'm like, oh, that's neat. I'll buy that. But outside of that, yeah. So,
right.
how are you?
I am doing just fine. I mean, it's one of those cases where well, it's just one of those cases. Sorry, I was reading the comment at the State of the Union for Disney tonight. That actually would be kind of funny to do, to be honest with you. You know, it's been an interesting few days. You know, we finally got thawed, so to speak. I'm happy to report that the 2 liters that I found in the back of my car did not explode in the back of my car. They did not explode as they thawed, but I brought one in, and it was kind of funny because you can tell that the bottle was stretched. And you can see the stress fracture starting to happen like right at the bottleneck. I mean, you can, once I drank the soda, I put my pinky in there and I kind of like, oh, this was about ready to go. So, I mean, and those things can be destructive. So yeah, it's life in the Midwest, and really looking forward to, you know, any weather but this. I'll be honest with you, but you know, we've got some pretty interesting things to talk about tonight. Before we do, though, I want to kind of mention a little bit. We normally don't do a lot of specific targeted plugs for our sponsors during the show itself, but I wanted to say that Expedition Roasters recently released a series of teas, pop culture inspired teas, and these are whole leaf type, you know, like leaf teas. They're not in the, I don't think they're in, I don't know, are they in bags? I haven't tried them out yet.
I haven't
seen them, but I've already had people like buy them and told me, hey, Mr. Chris, I'm buying them because they finally have teas and I'm not a coffee drinker. And so far, everybody has just absolutely loved them. And a lot of them said that they reminded them of like the high-end teas from Teavana before Starbucks bought them out. And so there's a lot of people that are just really extraordinarily happy about that. Give them a try. Your first order, Ears 20% off. And do follow them on social media because they also have different savings codes often. And even for repeat customers. So give them a try. Oh, Jess says only a few more weeks until Danny and Nick and I are reunited. I think Nick is more excited to see Danny than he is to find out about the gender of the baby. Well, because
priorities.
You know what the big deal is, though. I mean, you never know what Danny's going to be like when you finally see him. You know that there's nothing you can do about that gender of the kid by now. I mean, hey, what's been done is done, and now we just got to wait another 6 months or so.
I am a wild card.
You are a wild card. You're a wild man who's a wild card.
I like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's talk about this clothing line that you tagged me in, and you thought it was, at first it's basically all Pizza Planet stuff. If you're not seeing what we're talking about, you could see it over on the WDW community Facebook page. It's all, as I'm trying to scroll to it, because last couple of days we've been having a lot of people posting, which is actually really, really cool. But it was all based on Pizza Planet. So the whole idea was like, ha ha ha, let's go make Uncle Danny get all this Pizza Planet stuff. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because part of me really loves Pizza Planet because of what it represents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a time before I got the Buzz Lightyear tattoo, the way I got it, there was going to be the Pizza Planet truck in this tattoo. But what Disney released with Pizza Planet was an absolute nightmare. But they have some cool stuff. They have an Al's Toy Barn mug,
which I got. People are going to be seeing that coming up in a coming up soon coffee break.
And that is one thing that, out of everything, that was the first thing I was like, oh man, I really, really need to go get that. They had like a pin. I'm not a big pin guy. I'm very honest with everybody. The pin, I'll give them credit. They did a really good job with the pin. It's basically Al McWiggin, his ID badge. Once again, not a huge pin guy. They have the one shirt that says Al's Toy Barn staff. They have a Pizza Planet polo, which I know Chris was really intrigued on getting. Now, the back of the polo shirt is the Pizza Planet logo, and it says delivery service, serving your local star cluster. And the front side is just a little pizza logo on the breast pocket. No pocket, just on the breast. At first, when I saw it, it was red with the blue collar. I was like, oh, it's really boring. And then they flipped it around the back, and I was like, okay, I would wear that. Yep. They also have the Pizza Planet hat, which Chris could show off to you all right now. That is what he is wearing. For anybody who's like me, it is not a snapback. It is not a fitted. It has the typical Disney buckle right there. Yep.
But
adjustable.
It is a denim style hat. It's a relatively heavy fabric. It's very nice. It fits very nicely on my big noggin. And here's the other thing. These items that you're talking about, they're not available online. You have to go get them at your local Disney store.
Are they available in the parks?
Don't know, but so far I know that you just can't get them online, at least not yet. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. You know, Chris is lucky enough to have a Disney store close to him. I don't, so he's able to, because I know you did last year. You did a lot of the plushes. Am I correct? I did. I did a few of the plushes. I mainly did the mugs and pins at our local store, and that was actually a real challenge because I was getting to the store 2.5 hours early to get one of the few that they actually got in. And I gotta be honest, I don't really care to go to my local mall often. I do enjoy it when I go there, but getting there 2 hours before it opens on a Saturday morning, the best part about it is that you get to meet some really cool people. You get to meet other diehard Disney fans that really love what, the merch and trying to do those types of things. I think that's really cool. But other than that, I am not going to be doing that again for quite some time. I just don't really think that it's going to be my cup of tea, but that's okay. But we have a great Disney store. The cast there is awesome, and they're always very helpful. And I always enjoy going to our local Disney store.
So the whole idea of talking about the Pizza Planet stuff was, I was really jelly that Chris got some stuff. But it comes to as a big dilemma, especially in a situation like this where, I'm leaving for Disney in less than a month. Well, about a month, right?
Maybe a little more than a month. About 6 weeks.
6 weeks. We'll call it a month and a half.
Yeah.
And it's tough to justify going out and buying more Disney merchandise when you're going to roll into that park and want to buy all the stuff anyway. And not saying that Pizza Planet stuff is going to be there, but you never know what's going to be in the parks. They do put merchandise out randomly, and it's always a tough dilemma. And people could say, well, you could always just wear it to the park. When I tell you my entire wardrobe is basically T-shirts, and they're 98% Disney T-shirts, the other 2% are hockey. That's not a lie.
He's telling you the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
And then I've got my random shirts like the Bazinga, but happened to get on a vacation while I was going to Disney, and I went to the arch rivals next door.
But he does own a suit coat and a tie.
I own a lot of suits.
And he looks good when he's dressed up. I'll tell you that right now. Just like I think he looks better without the beard, but that's an entirely different show. I'm sorry, Danny.
It's okay. So basically it's either I dress really nice with suits or I'm wearing Disney T-shirts.
I see nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with this.
But where do you cut the line of like that's too many Disney shirts?
I don't know.
That's why I really fell in love with the mug, because that's one thing. Like I know. All right, we'll do this too.
Okay.
We'll roll into the first question. I know we're gonna do a little Disney news. There's really not a lot of new stuff out there to really touch on, so we're kind of like a little free forum tonight. Trisha had posted a little while back, and I had posted another group to get some cool response. I silenced my phone. I promise you I did. And yo, all of the 2 people messaging us both, stop. It could wait.
Yeah, we all know who you are. Stop it. We love you guys, but stop it.
What was the question? Oh, Trisha had posted, what is the one thing? Like, if you can only buy yourself one thing when you are going on a Disney trip, just one thing, be realistic. Don't say, oh, I'm going to buy, every time I'm there, and buy one of those crystal castles.
I was just going to say that. Like the big $30,000, yeah.
Yeah, realistically, that's not, So the question is basically, if you can only buy yourself one item, doesn't have to be specific. It just has to be in the genre. And I'll give you mine so you understand what I'm saying. I always buy a mug.
Yeah, you do.
I drink a lot of coffee, so I always buy a mug. Mary says she always buys an ornament.
Oh, yeah. I always...
We have a spirit jersey from Jess.
Well, no, we don't have a spirit jersey. And that's the thing. I know that when she goes there, she buys all the spirit jerseys is what she does. I usually get a hat of some sort. Now, the only other thing that I would probably say is that if I don't get a hat, I'm usually looking for a special watch. Because I collect watches.
Okay.
But usually I can almost guarantee you I am walking out with a hat, plain and simple. I mean, I've got a ton of hats. I collect hats. I've got 15 hats sitting right over there behind me right now. But yeah, that's one of those cases. So I'm a hat guy or even a watch.
Seems like ornament is really getting the heavy vote here. Let's see. Steven says picture frame with the year.
Okay. And we used to.
I remember getting those as a kid.
We used to do those too, and it turns out we just kept on swapping them out. And the problem of it is that we eventually ran out of wall space, so you can't really do too much.
Let's see this one. I always get a mug, but I think I'm gonna start getting baseballs or ornaments. Baseballs, interesting. Why baseballs?
That's kind of cool. I mean, I've seen different themed baseballs. In fact, I think my son got a themed football one year. It was really cool, kind of Sorcerer Mickey-ish. I think we got it over at Pop one year.
I'm shocked we had to wait through like 10 comments before we got to this. I buy a lot of pins.
Yeah. And of course Cynthia's also saying, but I also try to buy one Mickey icon pin per trip. It's getting to find ones you don't have. I know what you mean there, because I collect pins, but I'm very selective. I don't buy pins just to buy pins. I usually, buy very specific pins that I really like. Oh yeah. I'm trying to figure out what to do with all my pins to kind of display them. We'll have to I'm thinking of putting them in this frame here. People who see me pointing at it. I got that from my daughter and son-in-law to be, and it's a really awesome frame. And I'm thinking about making it into like a shadow box type of thing.
That'd be cool.
But I'm not sure if I want to do that or try to find a nice big picture of our whole family at Disney from when we went last summer. I got to figure that out.
I tried to get in pins. I honestly did. I bought some starter packs. I went around just snagging up some ones. I almost was one of those people, but I realized how unlucky I guess you can get on the internet. Like they had those giant lots of like 250 Disney pins, and you never know if they're really real or not. And then the people are like, well, mine are expensive, so they're real. No, you just might be getting people. That's a good marketing plan for you to get your stuff sold. My biggest problem with the pins was I don't know where to display them and what to do, and the last thing I want is extra weight on me, or like the lanyards, no go for me. Tried it. I put them on the backpack. I lost 3 of them in the matter of a day because they, you're tossing a backpack in and out of a ride vehicle, lean up against walls, they rip out. Part B is I don't want to trade with people, and that's not to be rude, but if I spent my hard-earned money on it, I'm like, oh, but I bought it for a reason. I don't buy tradables.
You collect pins. You don't trade pins. And I know that's one of those things where, they have those really cool starter packs where you can go ahead and trade with cast members, and I think that's fun. I think that especially for younger children that want to get into collecting something and have some fun cast member interaction, those are the kinds of things that are just fabulous. The problem of it is that it's hard to actually collect with trade with a collector because they have everything. There's nothing that you're really going to be able to get that they probably don't have already. Now, I will say this. We have run into some wonderful people in the past that have given us pins just to, shed a little bit of magic to a fellow guest, which I thought was absolutely, totally, completely wonderful. It was very generous of them to do that. And so, sometimes you can do that, especially if you have a couple extras or a couple duplicates. You could always spread some, magic around to fellow guests, but that's entirely up to you. I think it can be a lot of fun, but most of mine are revolve around either Sorcerer Mickey or Steamboat Willie. Those are my favorites. Oh, and Figment, of course.
We also have some DVC merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
Mug or personalized Christmas ornaments, another ornaments.
I would be so afraid about the ornaments breaking to getting them home.
I've never had a problem getting them home.
Okay.
Never, yeah. But, I mean, I was carry on, too.
True.
So that could help. If you drive, that's even easier.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lately, I've been buying those miniature figures and do the trading to make sure I get all the new ones. You mean like the buildable ones?
Or is she
no, that's Nick. I think he's talking about the little mini plastic ones.
Not the Funkos.
No. I think they're really, really small. Like definitely choking hazards for children. He also Nick does the press pennies.
Yes, he does. And doesn't he have like all of them?
Well, do you remember those long tubes of the mini
M&Ms?
M&Ms.
Yeah.
So they have like 6 of them, and they fill them up with quarters and pennies.
Yes.
And Jess is like the mom who has to ration out his pennies and quarters for the day. Let's see. Bailey says, I bought the Mr. Potato mug on our last trip and love it, and I always buy the Starbucks mugs every trip too. I really started loving the I will not step foot in a Starbucks. I will not eat their food, drink their items. I think they're terrible. But I did fall in love with their mugs.
I did too. I will
until I saw the price of them.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. I could buy like 3 Disney mugs. Like with the price of that 4-set pack they were having, you could literally they had when they did each park.
Yeah. I didn't realize
they sold it. They had it at Epcot. It's inside that Starbucks. They had all 4 of those in one box.
I didn't see that. I actually had to go to each individual park to get them, and I did.
Oh, really?
And then I also got the was it 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. I got the special Hollywood Studios ones with the aliens on it. So
okay, I did see that one,
and they're nice. I mean, I'll admit, I'm like you. I'm not a big fan of Starbucks. I had a cup of their coffee when I got to meet one of our listeners over a cup of coffee about a month ago, and I still don't understand why. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go to Starbucks, and it was horrible coffee. Just my 2 cents. Sorry, Starbucks. It's just wasn't.
I'm
good.
not sorry.
Yeah,
picture frame, but no year for Joanne.
You know what my problem of it is? Figuring out what picture to put into the said picture frame.
But that's the nice thing about pictures. You could just change them out.
True, but you got to get them printed first. And we talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
Don't let your computer be your digital shoebox. If you take some good pictures or you get Memory Maker, get those puppies printed out. There's just no excuse for it because printing is so cheap these days.
Park exclusive Pandora charm, another ornament.
The Pandora charms are actually really nice. In fact, Kathy's got a small Pandora bracelet. Let me rephrase that. She's got a Pandora bracelet with a small complement of charms from all the parks. Plus, I think my kids picked one out, and she's got a DBC specific one as well. She only wears it on special occasions. She does not wear it in the parks, but she does have one of those, and she absolutely loves it. And looks good on her, too.
Yeah. Chris says my new thing is an art print once per month. The art festival has been killing my monthly budget. Yeah, that would be a
Yeah.
problem.
And the thing, and you're going down during food and wine, and sometimes they even have different pieces of art and things like that there too. Not like what it's right now, because there's just everybody who's artistic is there, and I've seen some of the works. It's absolutely gorgeous. I would go nuts. I would be like Chris. I would totally walk out of there with a light wallet.
Anything Figment. We've been seeing a lot of that lately.
I agree. I completely agree. Anything Figment is a must. Let's see.
Cynthia says, Danny, we need a meet in New Jersey 2 times a year to trade pins over the entire weekend. You should come check it out. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were wanting me to plan. I was like, I don't even collect enough pins for myself. I don't even want me to set up a meet. That's really cool. So, let me know. We might be able to collaborate something, do a live show from there or something.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I only collect cast member pins if I don't buy them myself. I don't trade with guests. I like cast member pins.
You know what the thing is?
I don't even know where to get them.
Well, the thing is, I've heard. Very rarely do we hear of stories.
Oh, I see what she's saying. She trades with only cast members.
Right.
Got it. Misunderstood that. I was trying to be a jerk to Trisha. Didn't work. Backfired on me.
Why would you want to be a jerk to Trisha? Don't be a jerk to Trisha.
I like to rile up the feathers, keep my team on their toes.
That's funny.
Let's see. Nick says we have the pins, collect and keep them, but then we have those lots that we bought that are working on trading those out for the ones we like. Yeah, I don't know, because I was with them in Poly the one time, and Poly had like 6 boards up, and they're trading away some old pins to get in their eyes, they were getting a cool pin back. And I'm like, oh, you're making such a bad move. Don't trade it away. And I got so upset. And the lady was working the board. She's like, do you really like that pin that much? I'm like, it was a great movie ride pin. And I was like, yes, I really like that pin. She's like, you can just have the pin. I'm like, oh, it's ecstatic. I was ecstatic in the situation. Then guess what happened?
You lost it.
I lost the pin.
I mean, it's not.
I can't do it. I can't.
So see, here's the. Is it funny? I don't know. You can buy the pin, and then you can actually buy these locking clips. And the only problem of it is, though, it's like a little brass slug that you put on the back end of the pin, and you use like an Allen wrench to tighten it down. And there's like no way in the world that pin's going to let loose. The problem of it is I thought I was going to be able to maybe wear a pin in the hat. The problem of it is that if you put one of those locking pins up there, which is what I would do, the problem is you hit your head or something like that on something, and that little pin is going through your skull, man. I mean, it's just like, ow. But yeah, but that's how we do it. We have, and actually we still use them because sometimes my wife is able to wear certain Disney pins at work, and we actually use one of the locking pins then. So, but yeah, that's cool.
But what do you? I guess the idea is so you don't lose it. I understand that. It's just, I mean, what if you want to use that backpack or that hat, or when you get home for something else? There
are some people that just use that backpack for Disney trips.
Just for Disney trips. I had my Toy Story backpack for just Disney trips. Then I went out and bought that fancy backpack that was for just Disney. And then you realize, well, I need this backpack for something else now. So it's now becoming a multi-purpose backpack.
I can see that. I know that some people... Oh, I like that. Jessica's basically saying she gets a beach towel every year with the year on it. And those beach towels are wonderful. They're big.
They're so big.
They're big. They're fluffy. They actually last quite a while. I mean, they actually last a good long time. So I don't really see I don't see a problem with that. Let's see. Bailey actually says, I've made the castle and tree of life our pictures from our last 2 trips. I'll probably make Spaceship Earth for our pictures from this year's trip. Most excellent, and that's all cool. Oh, and Tervis mugs. Everybody loves those Tervis mugs, but they are expensive.
What are the Tervis mugs?
They're like double insulated mugs, like coffee mugs or drink mugs, but they're clear, and they have really cool Disney designs on them. But Tervis, I mean, they're very durable, extraordinarily durable.
Not like the rose cup, right? From Beauty and the Beast?
No. I mean, it's a similar plastic type of thing, but they are double insulated.
Oh,
They're
but the
very
ones that
durable.
have the straw that you stick in, but it can't fall out type of thing?
I think so. I don't. Kathy actually got.
You're not talking about like like one of these.
Without the handle, but it's also clear.
Okay.
Or could
and it like keeps it like super cold or super hot.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say that they're always plastic. Kathy got one for Christmas. She bought it for herself, and it was really cool. It looked like mermaid. It was mermaid themed, and it was not necessarily specifically Disney. She did end up taking it back because she just decided that she got a bigger mug. So it was one of those cases, but I mean, it was a nice heavy duty mug. But a lot of people actually, really just go crazy with the Tervis mugs. So Jessica is showing us her Tervis mug, through, chat right there. So yeah, it's a big Tervis mug.
Marissa wanted to know, what fancy backpack did you get? I have to get the name for you, but it's a gray backpack with 4 outside pockets. Then it has like a sponge on the back, but that's also a hidden pocket. It has a big overall side pocket, but it also on the side has the clip to plug your USB into. And so you can walk and hold your phone while it's plugged into that. And then inside the backpack from that little plug is the wire that you plug into your portable charger. So you're not walking around these clunky big bricks in your pocket or holding them both. And it's very lightweight, very adjustable. I will say this. It was only like $45, I believe. The only problem with that backpack is there are so many zippers that when you go through security at Disney, it is a pain in the tush.
I will also say I have one. It's made by Targus, and I literally bought it 20 years ago. It's still the same one I carry with me every time I go. And funny thing is, 20 years ago, I spent $65 on that backpack. And I said to myself, my gosh, why am I spending $65 on a backpack? I still have it 20 years later, and it works.
You know what? I get that, like, because people look at you funny, like, did you really need that wire to be plugged in there? And did you really need to do this? At the end of the day, it's all about comfort.
Yeah.
You're walking numerous miles, and Chris has kids. I've got Lindsay, so.
I don't know, dude. You got to be careful how you say that. You know that, bro.
You got ponchos, water bottles, probably a little satchel thing, purse, whatever, like a wristlet. Yeah. You've got stuff you got to carry.
And for me, it's
the last thing you want it to be like dragging you or digging into you.
Yeah. And a lot of times with mine, if I'm carrying it into parks, and I rarely carry mine into parks, I am dragging mine through the airport more than anything else. If I'm carrying mine through the parks, I'm carrying camera equipment. So I need to make sure that it's A, protected, and B, it's big enough, and C, that it's comfortable so that, I'm not having something stab me in the back while I've got, a lot invested in camera equipment on my back. Not to mention that I strap a small tripod to the side of it. So that's actually really kind of cool. Yeah, and generally speaking, especially for photographers, if you can put it in your backpack, they're not going to mess with you. Just make sure you still don't have anything that's selfie stick related or anything that extends, like one-handed extend. They'll take that away. But yeah, I love mine. As I said, I drag it all throughout airports. Fits wonderfully underneath the seat of an airplane. It fits very nicely alongside some of the suitcases in the back of Diz Truck 1. It works out really, really well. To be very honest, Disney or not, I think people need to invest in a good bag of some sort, whether it be a backpack or a satchel or something. Decorate it as you wish, Disney-wise, and I think that you'll like it. It may not be Disney-esque, but sometimes you get it from a third party. It'll actually last longer. It'll actually fit you better. I've got like 3 different Disney-related tags and a magic band hanging off of my backpack. So yes, when I went to Dallas the other week, yes, I went with a magic band hanging off my backpack. So
I will be walking in with my giant 24-ounce cup that drinks cold for 12 hours and drinks hot for 8 hours because I want to carry around my Joffreys in that one because I don't want it to get cold while I'm in the park. And also, I'm contemplating. I've got a 64-ounce container that holds water for 24 hours. Dude. It feels like cast iron. It's so heavy.
Well, dude, it's a half a gallon of water.
I think it could take a bullet.
It's a half gallon of water. I mean, okay, 64-ounce bottle, 32-ounce bladder. I want you to go ahead and remember that when you're in line for Flight of Passage.
I'm just saying, I don't want to waste time going to the kiosk. Can I have a glass of water? Can I have a glass of water? Or when you can't find a kiosk, and then you're like paying $5 for a thing of water. When I can just half gallon, baby. Who's thirsty? I'm drinking. I'm giving water to everybody. I'm just sprinkling it everywhere.
You get some water. You get some water. You get some water. Yeah, I can see that. But here's the thing. I usually. Now, this is not more of a souvenir, but more of a utilitarian type of thing that I like to get. I have several of the little stretchy rubber Mickey carabiner bottle holders. You basically stretch Mickey's head through the ears, put it over the neck of a bottle, and it has a carabiner, which I clip onto my either A, my backpack, or B, my camera bag. And it just goes ahead and, stores right there. And the nice part is I don't have it here, do I? I have I call it a splittable bottle where you actually take off the center, you fill it with ice, and you can fill the whole thing up with water. And water in your bottle. And it's an 18. I think it's an 18-ounce bottle. It's really kind of nice. It's just the right size, not too heavy, keeps water cold. You got to stay hydrated. I don't care when you go to Disney. You got to stay hydrated. Even if you go right now in winter. It may be cooler. It may, the sun may not be out as much. You still got to protect your skin with sunscreen, and you got to stay hydrated. It's as simple as that. Okay, PSA over.
All right, so Jess was asking 2 questions. Danny, do you pay for a carry-on in Spirit? And then she responded with, how do you pack enough clothes in a personal item? So no, carry-ons are not, you have to pay for them. So you have to literally, if you want to sneeze on Spirit, you have to pay for that. That's not a joke.
No, it's not. Isn't it like, if the oxygen mask comes down, you have to swipe your credit card?
A quarter in.
It's like 75 cents the first minute, $1 every minute after that.
No, you can have a backpack, your personal item. So I usually put in any medicine, usually a change of clothes if I need it, if I plan on it, and then electronics and stuff like that. I was a Spirit member for the last 3 years, so I was paying dirt cheap prices to bring my bag. But this year, I think Lindsay and myself will be using my company to ship them down there. Carry-on cost.
Isn't it like $25 or something like that?
For $35.
See, that's just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I went out and I bought this little rollaway bag that fits. It's designed to fit in Spirit overhead. The thing's awesome. I bring it down to Indy all the time now because when I fly Southwest, I get it for free. But yeah, I refuse. I will not pay anything extra for Spirit.
But here's the thing: we could go ahead and make fun of Spirit, and we do. But the thing of it is that now it's like certain carriers, those carriers that are unitedly American, basically they have these special dirt cheap fares, but you're like boarding last. It costs you more to check your bag, and you're not allowed to put anything in overhead bin. So by the time all is said and done, you might as well go ahead and pay the extra that you were going to pay anyway. unless you know that you're going to fit everything in a single bag that's going to fit into the seat in front of you, and that you're not picky about literally not getting a choice of where you sit. But, you know, I will say that sometimes Spirit does have some good fares. And I know, like, you know, I was just kind of goofing around. I'm like, one time it was like $500 to go down round trip on Spirit. It was $900 to fly another carrier. And that was even one of those other carriers that tends to, I don't know, go towards the Southwest. It was kind of ridiculous, but, you know, it was one of those things. I thought, Danny, you were going to say that you're the kind of person who wears like 4 t-shirts, 3 pairs of underwear, 6 pairs of socks, a pair of shorts underneath the jeans.
I just wear my entire outfit, my entire wardrobe for the week down there. No, yes, I mean, through my company, I'm able to ship at ridiculously cheap prices, and you know, it breaks out to be, you know, because you got to pay the fee for Disney now, the $5 a package. You know, we're gonna save maybe $10-15 total for the two of us, but at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about. Listen, if my company loses my bag, I'm gonna go bananas. So I put a little tag on the bag that says, you know, FedEx employee, and they throw it a little harder.
Oh, that belongs to Danny D'Angelo. Forget about that ornament you just bought.
Yeah. No, it's easy to just ship it down. You know, I don't want to have to worry about going to the airport with it. I want to be able to get out of the car and walk into the airport and just have our 2 bags walking through TSA. Don't worry about nothing. I want to get off the plane and just go right to Magical Express, get to the hotel. And the nice thing is I now don't have to worry about my stuff not being there. So when you get off the plane and it goes Magical Express, it could be 8-9 hours before it gets to your hotel room. I always make sure that my luggage is getting there a day or 2 days before.
I have a question.
Yes.
On Spirit, how do they know that if you've paid for your overhead bin bag?
It'll have they'll stop you when they do that last scan to get onto the plane. If you're carrying 2 bags, it'll say on there whether you have a carry-on or not. And you'll get stopped and they'll make you pay.
Okay, so they kind of do it before you even walk down the aisle.
Yeah, like that last scan before you walk down the runway to the plane, if they see you with a backpack on and like a little bag and your stub does not say carry on, they will stop you.
Oh, okay. I always wondered. I mean, just call it a silly wondering, but I always wondered how they did it because I've never flown them before. I mean, the cheapest airline I've ever flown was an airline called Kiwi Airlines. I kid you not.
Never even heard of them.
They didn't last very long, but the funny part is that Kiwi Airlines was an airline. It was very much a budget airline that was it was owned and operated by a bunch of people that got displaced by layoffs from other airlines. They're the only. I will tell you this: they are the only. No, that they were the people that lost my luggage the first time I ever flown.
Okay, I was gonna say, didn't you just lose it?
Yeah, well, I won't go into that one because that was actually rectified. Nicely. So.
Oh, so did Kiwi lose it completely? Like you never got it back?
No, I got it 2 days later, and they did pay for clothes and stuff like that, but I had to go to a business meeting in front of colleagues whom I've never met before in a t-shirt and a pair of black jeans. Yeah, and lunchtime, fortunately, I had to go across the street. There was a mall. I bought myself some nice clothes, a few pairs of Dockers, this, that, and the other. Yeah, it was the 90s. And, you know, I looked good after that, but it was like, son of a gun. Anyway, and like the day, it was like the day before I finally got my luggage back. Anyway, yes.
We got into a very long spiral off the show like we normally do. So let's just briefly touch on some things here. Disney, this is interesting.
What's up?
And Chris, me and you are going to disagree on this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Disney is testing smart speakers in guest rooms at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club. Smart speakers, let's try saying that 3 times fast. Smart speakers may be coming to guest rooms at Walt Disney World as a pilot program. Guests staying at the resorts are being randomly selected to take part in the test, where a smart speaker in the room can be used to access information about their vacation. As with the speaker in the home, such as an Apple's HomePod, a Google Home, guests staying at the hotel can use the speaker to access things like weather and music, but specifically for Walt Disney World, they can check park hours and bus information. For Disney, this is the latest test, represents a continued drive to add more technology to guest stays at Walt Disney World. Recent developments include Bluetooth room entry, mobile food ordering, and continuing enhancements by My Disney Experience. Here's the thing. Why do you need that? You could literally turn on the TV and everything you need is right there. You can literally pick up your phone and everything is right there. Are we really turning into the society of WALL-E, where we're too fat and lazy to simply pick up a remote or a phone, and we need to now ask our Google Home whatever bot thing? No, stop it. We don't. This is unnecessary. First of all, I don't like those things. They're not in my home. My parents have one. It stays unplugged when you're not using it. I don't trust them and what they do. That's for another show and not a Disney podcast. But no, there's no need for this. This is ridiculous. Don't be lazy. Just pick up the remote. What is that beautiful young woman who does all those commercials going to do now?
Stacy?
She's going to be out of a job. Stacy's going to be out of a job. Did you ever think about her?
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh first before I can even respond to that one. I'm not gonna say I disagree with you. I think this is one of those cases where I don't have paranoia over them. I have both Google and Amazon devices in my home for automation and this, that, and the other. I don't have a problem with it, but here's the thing. If I'm running around trying to get things taken care of in the room before we actually leave. Oh my gosh.
Was that thunder?
That was thunder, ladies, and it's still going.
I literally thought that I pulled up another window on my screen and I thought a video was playing. That was loud.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That shook my house. Oh,
are you getting thunderstorms?
Oh, we're expecting ice storms tonight, and that was. Yeah, it's starting to rain really hard now.
It was 60 degrees here today.
Wow. Sorry about that, but that scared the crap out of me.
It scared the crap out of me.
The thing of it is that I like using those devices from a multitasking perspective. If I want to hear what's going on, I'll go ahead and ask it a question while I'm still doing something else. But here's the thing, and this is where I think it could work well. If it's locked down to respond to only certain things, Thor is now visiting Chris. Yeah, you're not kidding, Bailey. If they lock it down to respond to Disney resort and park related items, I don't necessarily have a problem. If I will not use it if it's like connected to, or it has to be connected to, say, our Google accounts in order to use it. I will draw the line at that. To me, that's like a public device. Wrong answer. When it's here in my house, it's on a secured network. I'm not going to deal with it there for that particular purpose. I think it's too soon to make a real big judgment. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know what kind of benefit it would have and how you would use it. And to be very honest, I do think there's a lot of people that have no idea on how to use them and what they do and the security ramifications. I just don't know. Would I like to try it out? Yes. But I guarantee you, the first time that it starts, first time anything just goes haywire, bink, I'm unplugging. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. I have no problems unplugging automation. I'm not telling my son this because he would go absolutely crazy because he loves his Google device.
Moving on to the next topic here, as we wrap up. Some things have been announced for the 2019 Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, which I will be there for. Mm-hmm. This is going on from March 6th through June 3rd. I'm getting a little nervous because The menus have still yet to be released. I understand that that's not the end of the world.
That's your
I
worry.
know someone's going to make a comment, but it is important to me.
That's your worry.
That is my worry right now. Everything else is good in life.
I'm gonna have to contact Lindsay. Lindsay, could you please make sure Danny eats every 3 hours? Because otherwise, he turns into a crab.
And I just want to know, like, what's going on here? Why have like you're 1 month away. You're literally a month away, and you haven't released the menu. I mean, obviously they know what the menus are. I just would like to know, and I'd like to do a show on all the menus. But anyway, Disney released a few more details on what's happening for 2019. The popular Garden Rocks concert series will expand to every day of the festival, featuring chart-topping artists performing 3 shows daily on the American Gardens Theater stage. That's 270 concerts for anybody who's counting at home, more than ever before, featuring new and returning fan favorites spanning multiple genres. Returning favorites like the Spinners. Oh, I hope they're there when I'm there. The Herman's Hermits. That's a tough name. Starring Peter Noon, and will be joined by artists of the festival like Toby Mac, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Colin Hay of Men at Work. There is a full lineup. We'll do that during our we'll go into the rest of that lineup during when we do our actual show about the Flower and Garden Festival. Creative new culinary dishes and several new outdoor kitchens will debut this year. Advent Health will host a kitchen along with a nearby playground where the whole family can learn fun and interactive ways to stay healthy. Woody and Buzz Lightyear welcome Bo Peep and her sheep to the Toy Story Topiary near the Family Play Zone in the Future World East.
There you go.
Do I take a picture with anything Buzz Lightyear? Spike's Pollination Exploration. That is a cool name. Spike's Pollination Exploration. Family scavenger hunt will be more fun than ever this year with new locations to discover along the garden pollination trail. So if Chris was going, his children would be nowhere near this one.
It's sponsored by Benadryl. Sorry.
Yeah. Guests can also can also join with their scavenger hunt experience with select merchandise offerings featuring everyone's favorite bee, Spike. Another guest favorite returning for the festival April 5th through the 21st, so I will not see this. Wall supplies last is the Extravaganza Scavenger Hunt, where guests can search for Disney character-themed eggs around Walt Disney World Showcase. In celebration of Disney Nature's Penguins opening on April 17th, a 9-foot-tall art sculpture made from recycled marine debris will be on display in Future World, featuring an adult baby penguin created by a nonprofit organization. Among the returning gardens and exhibits, guests will once again enjoy the Goodness Garden Butterfly House. Oh, that's so cool. I love that one. Presented by Go-Go Squeeze. And I love being able to walk out of there and have a little applesauce, where nearly 1,000 native butterflies will fly among the garden's 24 nectar plants. Additionally, several World Showcase pavilions will include gardens with floral life of plants in those countries, such as I'm not even going to try and butcher any of this stuff. So just know Japan, Morocco, and Germany will all be offering something, because I'm not about to do that. In addition to the outdoor kitchens, raised bed or in-ground gardens of herbs and produce will offer the perfect inspiration for learning to grow healthy ingredients. Several Epcot food and beverage locations, including Taste Track and Refreshment Port, will offer festival-themed eats and foods. That's all I got.
There you go. I think that sounds like a really good lineup, and I know we'll have a longer show about it. Danny, I got to tell you something, though. I think we need to cut this episode because it is beginning to storm here like nobody's business, and I'm a little concerned that the power is going to go out.
All right. Take us away.
All right. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Thank you all for joining us here in another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading. Keep downloading. Keep spreading the word. Follow us on all social media platforms. If Trisha would kill me if I didn't tell you to join the WDW community. So with that being said, tuck your kids in tight. Wear your seatbelts. Don't forget to tip your waitress. I am Uncle Danny. Toodaloo!
And I'm Mr. Chris. And before the storm knocks everything out, I hope everybody has an absolutely magical day. And we can't wait to talk to you again. Take care.